Hello and welcome to our nightly news. These are the headlines. Instructed by the President of the Republic, Minister of State Ahmed Attaf is in Addis Ababa for an official visit during which he will co-preside the works of the 5th Algerian-Ethiopian Joint Commission. And the Sahel region will shed a light on the co-leaders' moves threatening regional stability, depriving the million people from their rights. And in Morocco, no less than 100 billion dirham have been embezzled within the Social Security Fund with Makhzen involvement. Details of this in news scandal later on. And a memorandum of understanding was signed to further improve lithium industry in Algeria. Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's news. According to a statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Secretary General of the Ministry, Lounas Magraman, received on Sunday the French ambassador to Algeria, Stéphane Romati. The purpose of this meeting is to inform France of Algiers' protest against the decision of the French judicial authorities to change and place one of its consular employees who exercises duties on French territories in provisional detention, and this part of the opening of a judicial investigation into the alleged kidnapping of the known as Amir Boukhers, nicknamed Amir Dezad. Therefore, Algeria firmly rejects the arguments presented by the French public prosecutor specializing in terrorism cases to justify the detention of its consular employee. Algeria recalls that the consulate employee was arrested on a public road and then placed in detention without prior notification through diplomatic channels, in a flagrant violation of the privileges and immunities associated with his duties at the Algerian consulate in Créteil. Adding that Algeria calls for the immediate release of the detained consular employee and demands full respect for the rights associated with his duties, both within the framework of international and bilateral agreements. Algeria affirms that this unprecedented judicial turn in the history of Algerian-French relations is not a coincidence, but rather occurred within the context of a motivated desire to undermine the process of reviving bilateral relations, which was agreed upon between the two countries' presidents in the conclusion of their recent phone call. And on the instructions of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, the Minister of State, Minister of Foreign Affairs, National Committee of Abroad and African Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, arrived this Saturday in Addis Ababa for an official visit to the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. On this occasion, the Minister will co-chair, alongside his Ethiopian counterpart, the works of the Algerian-Ethiopian Joint Commission, scheduled for tomorrow, April 13th. The session will serve to assess the various areas of bilateral cooperation and will also provide an opportunity to enrich the legal framework governing Algerian-Ethiopian relations while setting new objectives and actions in priority sectors of mutual interest. Next Tuesday, Minister Attaf will take part in the 24th extraordinary session of the African Union Executive Council at the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa, and this session will be dedicated to finalizing the elections for vacant posts in the African Union organs. And tasked by the President of the Republic, the State Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, took part in the proceedings of Antalya Diplomatic Forum in its 4th edition. On the sidelines of the event, Minister Ahmed Attaf held talks with several counterparts, including the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Sudan, the Minister of International Relations of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, the PM and Minister of Expatriate Affairs of Palestine, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Expatriate Affairs of the Republic of Yemen, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina. A war situation continues to unfold in the Sahel. The actions of the co-leaders in Mali are destabilizing the entire region. Ghouta is putting the country's sovereignty and the future of its people at risk for the sake of narrow interests and hidden agendas. Najh Tayar reports on the situation.
With its presence being both concrete and consistent, Algeria, true to its principles and historic commitments, continue to stand firmly by its African brothers, working tirelessly for the development, unity and long-term stability of the continent, and actively engaged on political, economic and cultural fronts. And in a stark contrast, in Mali, a Bouchist junta blinded by ambition and manipulated by foreign influence is recklessly endangering national security, and its illegitimate rule has led to the deliberate sacrifice of the people's interests, plunging the country into instability through provocation, denial and defiance of all reason.
Did you know that university in Algeria is totally free of charge for African students? Imagine being able to study medicine, engineering, or law with no tuition fees, plus total free accommodation and food. It's a reality for many African students in Algeria. I went to Algeria in 2016. I stayed for 5 years, done my studies, and got my diploma in 2020. I realized my goal, which was a diploma there, and thankfully, all was good. The Malian people are once again voicing their rejection of these dangerous excesses, for which Goïta and his inner circle bear full responsibility. By executing foreign-driven agendas, they are putting Mali's future and sovereignty in grave risk.
Algeria
is an important country in Africa, and Algeria means having political power, diplomatic power, economic power, and military power. There can be no solution in the Sahel without Algeria.
Il n'y a pas de solution au Sahel sans l'Algérie.
Le communiqué algérien est très clair.
The Algerian press release clearly states that this is not the first time a Malian drone has crossed the border. They said in August there was a Malian drone that crossed the border.
Il y a eu un drone malien qui a franchi la frontière.
Mali, it's you who has a problem with everyone. You've got a problem with Côte d'Ivoire. You've got a problem with Senegal. You've got a problem with Mauritania. You've still got a problem with Algeria. Algeria isn't a small country.
C'est pas un petit pays. L'Algérie, c'est pas la Côte d'Ivoire. L'Algérie, c'est pas le Sénégal.
The Malian people continue to pay a heavy price for a disastrous governance of junta stripped of credibility and overwhelmed by repeated failures to mask its collapse. It resorts to sowing division and fueling instability, putting an entire region's security at serious risk.
To France now, where a March for Freedom has shed light on the suffering of these Sahrawi prisoners in Moroccan jails. The protests saw the presence of activists, civil society and local communities for a growing movement for justice and self-determination. Misa Lilabaran reports.
In Angoulême, Aquitaine, the fourth stop of the March for Freedom served as a platform to denounce abuses against Sahrawi prisoners in Moroccan jails. Workshops and meetings were held to raise awareness about their plight and the Sahrawi cause. I didn't know what the Moroccan occupier was doing to the Sahrawi people. Hearing real testimonies here showed me how brave they are. They deserve our support. I invite you to the sitting on April 23rd, 2025 in front of the European Parliament in Brussels. Let's be the voice of the Sahrawi prisoners.
Donc on est content parce que la communauté de Bressuire est venue nous soutenir.
We're grateful for the support from Bressuire's community. Even though they faced provocation from Moroccans protesting illegally, we're now more at ease and heading to Bordeaux tomorrow. The fight continues.
Bordeaux, on n'a pas fini de se battre.
We saw what happened and came to support the team. We can't accept that our people are still imprisoned in Morocco. The march, which reached several French cities, struck a blow to the Makhzen, which mobilized its supporters to harass Sahrawi activists. Supporters of the Moroccan monarchy in France tried to assault the marchers. This goes against the Geneva Conventions, which the Polisario Front joined in 2015. Transferring prisoners from an occupied territory to the occupier's land is a human rights violation. Complaints of torture and abuse prove this.
J'ai passé 4 années disparu.
I disappeared for 4 years in a secret base, blindfolded day and night, with no trial. Our families did not know where we were. We lived in fear, facing abuse and rape attempts.
C'était pas facile d'être maltraité, insulté, torturé.
The march has gained the support of civil society, unions and political parties, a strong message to governments backing the Moroccan occupier and denying Sahrawis their right to self-determination.
As for the Moroccan occupier, another corruption is shaking the country. This time we're talking about 115 billion dirham being embezzled for the Social Security Fund, while poverty continues to deepen across the country. Najh Tayar.
Recent revelations supported by alarming statistics have exposed widespread embezzlement of public funds and questionable practices at the highest level of the Moroccan state. These disclosures reveal a ruling power increasingly disconnected from the daily realities of its citizens, entrenched in privilege and shielded from accountability. Meanwhile, the Moroccan population continues to grapple with soaring living costs, high unemployment, and a bleak outlook for future. A deepening divide separates a protected elite from a disillusioned people, exhausted by years of unmet promises and growing social inequality.
Moroccans have been shocked by the content of leaks revealing the astronomical salaries received by certain well-known and influential figures. These very high salaries are difficult to justify, especially when compared with the derisory salaries paid to a large proportion of the population who work in precarious and unstable conditions.
The salary of the person in charge of the king's affairs is paid from the state's budget, amounting to 125 million per month. What exactly does this person do to justify such a sum? But what is it really? There seems to be a lack of transparency regarding this person's role.
This is a former advisor, and even if he were still in office, it would be still unjustifiable. How can such a salary be explained? The 120,000 euros he receives exceeds even the salaries of many top European officials.
The Moroccan people, already burdened by difficult living conditions, are now confronted with even more shocking revelations that expose the depth of systematic dysfunction. At the center of storm in the Social Security Fund, an institution meant to safeguard citizens' rights, which has become the focus of major scandal involving the embezzlement of 115 billion dirhams. Even more infuriating is the revelation of the extravagant salaries awarded to certain officials, which is completely disconnected from the everyday reality of most Moroccans. It happened that a new company specialized in air conditioners, tents and storage made a big deal after excluding many experienced companies in the field. And after much rejection to this matter, the deal was cancelled and taken by an old company. This is an example of corruption. This kind of organized theft contributes directly to the ruin of the state, empties public coffers and penalizes workers who are robbed of their rights. On several occasions, we have warned these practices, particularly in the private sector, where certain companies embezzle their employees' social security contributions. By consistently avoiding meaningful reforms and failing to implement sanctions to uphold justice and protect the citizens' rights, the regime has allowed unchecked corruption to thrive. This blatant disregard for accountability and reform has completely broken the bond of trust between the state and its people, reinforcing the perception of a system that serves only itself.
And the death toll in Gaza has increased, with at least 15 people killed in Zang's air raid since the early hours of Saturday. The strikes targeted several areas, including Jabalia in the north and in Mawasi in the south. Health officials report that the number of Palestinians killed since the Zionist entity resumed its offensive on March has now reached 1,560. Meanwhile, the United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees has warned of a deepening humanitarian catastrophe as food and clean water are running low after nearly 6 weeks of aid being blocked from entering the Strip. A memorandum of understanding was signed on Saturday for the development of Algeria's lithium sector. The agreement brings together the National Bureau of Geological and Mining Research, representing Sonaram Complex, and Professor Karim Zghib, the international expert in lithium iron phosphate batteries and energy storage. Signed by the Minister of State, Energy, Mines and Renewable Energies, Mohamed Arqab, the memorandum sets the framework for scientific and technical cooperation to implement an integrated strategic project. The initiative includes the development of national mining resources, leading to the local production of battery cells that meet international standards. The agreement reflects the state's commitment to building a knowledge-based national industry through high-quality partnerships with Algerian expertise abroad. And for his part, Professor Zghib voiced pride in contributing to this ambitious national project. In a move marking Global Cybersecurity Day, the Algerian Information Systems Security Agency Department of Use and Preparation of the People's National Army organized an Awareness Day for school children. The campaign highlights the risks of the digital realm and promotes responsible internet use. Present during this initiative, members of the People's National Army, the Minister of National Education and that of Knowledge Economy and Startups. And now flashback to April 13th, 1958, the day Algerian football heroes answered the call of the nation, birthing the legendary Athlon team. Details with Melissa Kipash.
On this day, April 13, 1958, a pivotal moment unfolded in the history of Algerian football and the nation's struggle for independence. A group of talented Algerian footballers, many playing for top French division clubs at the height of their careers, made a courageous decision that reverberated across the international stage. Answered a powerful call from their homeland, these 32 players embarked on a clandestine operation, orchestrated following an idea born in 1957 by Boumzrag after his return from the World Youth Festival in Moscow. Boumzrag, along with Mukhtar Aribi, Bentifour, Tahar Moulay and Mohamed Maouche, some of whom were pre-selected for the 1958 World Cup, organized the secret departure. This marked the birth of the Athlon football team, a symbolic representation of a people fighting for their freedom. These footballers, with their skill and dedication, became militant, participating in the national liberation struggle. Their mission was clear: to embody the image of a nation yearning for independence. Reflecting on their historic decision, the players affirmed that they would make the same choice tenfold, driven by a profound sense of duty to their homeland. Their contribution to the national cause was undeniably significant. Their story remains a powerful testament to the intersection of sports and national identity, a glorious chapter in Algeria's fight for freedom.
To the heart of our Sahara, where an age-old solution to water shortage is still in use. It is the traditional water system called the Fogara, and it has been bringing water for more than 1,000 years now. Misalila Balaman tells the story of the region and its people through the system.
In the heart of the Sahara, water has always been a rare and precious resource, shaping not only where people could live, but how they lived. Faced with harsh conditions, the ancestors of this land engineered a brilliant solution: the Fogara, a subterranean irrigation system that has sustained life for centuries. In Timimoun, a small desert town, one Fogara still runs through the center. It's over 600 years old, stretching nearly 8 kilometers beneath the earth. Today, a group of young locals, led by Ahmed, has taken on the responsibility of restoring and preserving it. Every day, they clean and care for the channel, not only as a duty, but as a tribute to their heritage. Their vision: to transform this ancient structure into a living monument and a destination for visitors from around the world.
Water was once the foundation of life here. It fed our oasis, our people. We want to bring that story back to life. As our proverb says, in a land without water, there is no safety.
Their dedication is more than preservation. It is a quiet revolution. A new generation reclaiming the wisdom of the past and giving it a future.
That was it for today's news. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow indeed.